One of my fondest memories of growing up as a child was when my family would all pile into the station wagon and head up north to the Steimer family reunion. It wasn't way up north, it was just to Lakeview, about 75 miles, but when you're 8 or 9 in the back seat of the Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, it feels like a long drive. The Steimer reunion started in 1917 by my great-great-grandfather and his siblings, the 12 offspring of Benjamin and Marie Steimer, one of which was my grandfather, George Steimer. He was on my mother's side of the family. Here's a picture of George with some of his siblings, probably at an early reunion. My maternal grandmother was George and Ellen's youngest child. There she is in the bottom left-hand corner. And my mother, Lois, was one of my grandma's 8 children. She's the pretty one, third from the right. I suppose the reason George and his siblings started the reunion in the first place is, being a large family, they wanted to stay connected with one another. But I think also equally important is they wanted the family information to be documented. You know, who was born, who died, how long they lived. They wanted their existence to be recorded. I have copies of all the records from those gatherings from 1917 through 1962, where the secretary, they had a secretary for the reunion, would record all these things, birth dates, death dates, how many children people had, how long they lived. They also recorded how many people came to the reunion, who came the farthest, who was the youngest and oldest in attendance. But my memory is always of heading up north to the Hinton Township Hall outside of Lakeview for the reunion. The reunion always started with a big potluck dinner, followed by the business meeting. All the kids would go out and play during the business meeting. And it would end with stories and jokes and songs. The last song always, God be with you till we meet again. The potluck was the highlight of the event. That was the main event of the gathering. Sharing that meal all together with all the family was a big deal. It was important. People would bring their favorite homemade recipes, and the table would overflow with homemade dishes. You had to have a dish to pass for the reunion. My mom's famous fruit salad was always a big hit, and I remember how she beamed bringing home that empty dish. My name is Kathy Doby. I'm a partner at Sycamore Creek Church. I'm a volunteer in the teaching and the vision and the worship teams, and a 5th-generation descendant of Benjamin and Marie Steimer. We are in a new series we started last week on this book, The Common Rule, Habits of Purpose for an Age of Distraction. And we're looking at how rules are the habits we commit to in order to grow in love with God and with others. Now, I know my family reunion story is not unique. Many of you have similar stories growing up where you gathered together with your family. They were pretty common, especially my generation or older. Last few decades, we've kind of gotten away from doing these gatherings, these kinds of events. I know some of you still do them. I know. Don't chew me out in the comments about your family reunion. But the family reunions of old, like my family had, where they kept records and had a secretary, they've kind of gone the way of the dinosaur, which leads us to our first discussion question. How did your family gather together when you were growing up? Maybe it was a reunion, maybe it was holidays, but in some way, how did you all get together as a family? Take a few minutes and talk about it.